Really what tends to happen is you just absorb
Yes.
the level of tattooers that are around you.
Yes.
It's like anything. Like if you want to be a great UFC fighter,
Yeah.
you're going to have to start rolling around with some super rad fighters, you know? And even if they told you nothing with words, you're going to absorb that knowledge through interacting with them. But another thing that kind of occurs is we have these subconscious limitations about what we think tattoo can be. And until you work next to a guy that's breaking those limitations, because you learn to know the guy, you realize they're human, they're not gods, they're not magicians, they're just regular people like you. And somehow he's doing that or she's doing that.
Yeah.
So it just, without even knowing it, it clicks into your mind that then I can do that.
Shit's about to go down.
I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova.
Hello, friends, neighbors, fellow humans, lovers of art, and probably tattoo if you're watching this show. I'm your host, Aaron Della Vedova. This is Chats and Tatts, and we are going to talk to a very talented tattoo artist today. I wasn't super familiar with his work, and somehow we got connected. And once I looked at his portfolio, I was like, damn, this guy is working hard and knows what he's doing. Very impressive. I would probably call his work color realism, surrealism. There's some anime in there. All of it super dope. Well done stuff. You know, he's an artist. He's a family man. He's got 3 kids, some of them very young. I'm going to ask him about how the hell he works as hard as he does and makes the art that he makes and manages that shit. Because I tried to do it, and man, it wasn't easy. But and he works in Honolulu, Hawaii at Pacific Soul Tattoo. So with all that being said, please welcome my guest today, Jose Guevara Morales. Otherwise known as Cheese. He goes by @Cheeseburger Champion on Instagram, by the way.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You know, we're here at the Pasadena Golden State Tattoo Expo. That's why you're here.
Yes,
I came up here to kind of hopefully talk to a few cool tattooers.
I'm a fool too, but you
Yeah,
can talk
a
to me.
fool tattooer. And I got you up here. So,
Thank
you
you so much.
These ones are we're just shooting from the hip, going quick, because we're going to rip through a few folks while we're here.
Got it.
But I'm glad I have you for at least the next 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
But let's just move right into it. I mean, how'd you find tattoo?
Man, well, I've always been familiar with tattooing of it, not like how to tattoo or anything. And it wasn't until I was finally 19. I had a son. My first son was born when I was 18, so I got my first tattoo when I was 19, and it was his name. And I've always done art. I never had like art classes or lessons or anything, but I was obviously interested in art and would draw or whatnot. But I got my tattoo, and I thought it was really cool, but I was like, man, I feel like this is something I'd really want to get into. And of course, growing up in Hawaii, you're surrounded by tattoos, especially of like, you know, Polynesian culture. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people, I don't probably know this, but in Hawaii, Honolulu, that's where Sailor Jerry was working, you know, and made, for the most part, American tattooing popular, especially with military. And then after that, you know.
Yeah, I think people, it should be noted, like Sailor Jerry and that movement kind of started and was born out of Hawaii.
Yep.
You know, so in a weird way, like I think a lot of people look at San Francisco as the core roots of American tattoo, but you got to talk about Hawaii if you're going to talk about that.
Yes, because I feel like that was even, I mean, if it serves me right, especially at least for the military, it's where it pretty much began, you know.
True that. Yeah. Yeah, and the work you do, I was thinking about you out in Hawaii with all these tan people. I look, you know, you do work that doesn't work really great on dark skin.
I definitely try my best. I do give forewarning or even advise against, you know,
hypercolor pieces.
You know, like stuff like, I don't care what anyone says. Like there's stuff that's not going to stay, like if you don't make the right choices, you know.
Yeah.
But,
you want to do peach to light peach to white highlights, you got to do it on some pretty white skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that. Well, you got some amazing work. It
Thank
really,
you.
You know, I'm assuming you work a lot.
Yeah.
You
yes,
do.
I do.
I mean, you're doing this 18 years now.
Yeah.
The style I'm seeing you put out on Instagram right now, is that, I mean, how many years ago do you think that started to emerge out of you? More recently, or were you always headed in that direction of hyper color surrealism?
So I actually, I feel like I did start. I think I started about maybe as far as trying to go for realism as far as like 2012 maybe 2011 2012, but I had a formal apprenticeship and everything, but it wasn't until after I've been tattooing for a while and then like actually going and get tattooed by people like I looked up to or whatnot, trying to learn, and then trying to do guest spots on the mainland, like trying to just learn, and then I feel like it really kicked in when my family and I moved from Oahu to Hesperia to work at Black Anchor. And there, I actually feel like...
Okay, so you worked with Nikko.
Yeah.
Okay. All of the puzzles just came together. Like seeing that level of use of color, right?
Yeah.
I mean, working next to Nikko Hurtado.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably learned a lot from him.
I feel like no matter what anyone would say, like just that environment there, just working there, even let's say if you didn't have a bunch of one-on-one time with him or anything, but just in general, especially during that time, there's no way you're not going to do better. There's no way you're not going to progress,
Yeah, it's funny how learning happens. At my shops, the young artists that come on board, they are, in their minds, they're just like, teach me how to tattoo. Like they think I'm gonna show them a needle they didn't understand or a technique they didn't understand, and those things happen.
Yeah.
But really, what tends to happen is you just absorb
Yes.
the level of tattooers that are around you.
Yes.
It's like anything. Like if you want to be a great UFC fighter, you're going to have to start rolling around with some super rad fighters, and even if they told you nothing with words, you're going to absorb that knowledge through interacting with them. But another thing that kind of occurs is we have these subconscious limitations about what we think tattoo can be. And until you work next to a guy that's breaking those limitations, because you learn to know the guy, you realize they're human, they're not gods, they're not magicians, they're just regular people like you. And somehow he's doing that or she's doing that.
Yeah.
So it just, without even knowing it, it clicks into your mind that then I can do that.
Yeah.
But if you watch those heroes from a distance through your phone, you'll develop a wall around you unconsciously that's sort of like, well, they're special, and I don't know how they do it. They're not human beings. They're something else. I'm a regular human. You just won't break through that. So I tell these young people in my shop, like, the greatest gift you're going to get right now is you're going to, without knowing it, set a new bar for what's possible.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
100%. The way I look at it, well, first of all, among everything, like, you're an amazing artist. So,
thank you.
And not just because of that, but like, obviously you hearing you say that, like, you understand exactly, because sometimes I use the metaphor, bodybuilders, they don't get buff watching competitions on TV or doing whatever. How do you get buff? You got to work out. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't have a bone in my body, an artistic bone in my body. And it's like, hard work outweighs talent any day. And the truth of the matter is, even if some people are naturally inclined towards something, I strongly believe art is like, or even tattooing is like a muscle. You got to work it out. And everyone's on a different path, but if you work it out, like, you'll be able to do that too, I understand when I tell people things like, oh, I can't do that, I feel like I know I'm saying, because I'm not willing to try to,
Yeah, what you're really saying is, I'm not willing to do the work it's going to take to do that.
Exactly.
Because you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally true. The work aspect is, everyone has to work hard to be great at something. But in the art fields, tattooing is like, it is the bodybuilder of art, right?
Yeah.
You have to, it's a very physical art. Like, you have to physically work, mop up blood, and figure out what the fuck, it's hours.
Yeah.
There's no escaping it. Sometimes a painter or somebody like that could just have an aha moment and splash it onto canvas, and they're the next big thing.
Yeah.
It's a stroke of genius, a moment of savant genius occurs.
Yep.
You don't get away with that in tattooing.
No.
You could have the most breakthrough idea for a tattoo in your mind.
Yeah.
But your ability to put it into skin and have it heal and have it last, the only way you're going to make that happen is a couple thousand hours of tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's
Definitely.
It's tattooing is that. Tattooing is a lot of things. I'm separating tattoo right now from other art forms, but let's go down that rabbit hole. I mean, in your words, what makes tattoo so wildly different than any other art form, and in my opinion, more special?
The intimacy. I think right off the bat, the first thing that comes to my mind is the intimacy, because you're sharing this. It's a whole experience. Like, of course, like art, like oil painting, water, like any kind of art, like murals, like pottery, anything. Like, the thing with tattooing is it's really intimate with the person that you're tattooing. It's a whole experience, you know. You know, they have to let down their guard. They have to really have perseverance, you know, and at the same time, you have all this trust, and you have to do the same, or at least return like what they're expecting. And you're kind of just riding this boat together, you know, but together. I feel like it's just really intimate.
It is. Yeah. It's very intimate. You know, we were going through this before you got up here with another tattooer, Tony Mancia. I don't know, yeah, such rad work that he does. But you know, we got into this, and it, you know, it was like this idea around, you know, to buy a painting doesn't redefine who you are. You know, you're still you, and you own a painting, and, and it sort of does, because people are like, oh, I now know that you're into that kind of art.
Right.
To get a tattoo is to change who you are.
Yep.
You know, and that is powerful, and it makes it different. It's just always going to be different than any other kind of art. That plus the collaboration aspect.
Yes.
You know, how many art forms does the client who's purchasing the art get to sit there and decide whether to use light purple or light blue?
Right.
You know, you don't tell a painter what he's going to use. He paints it, and you buy the damn painting.
Okay.
But we collaborate.
Yes.
And so it's really beautiful to allow people to collaborate, because they get to be part of this art project. They get to be an artist.
Yeah.
You know, with you through that. And I think you've noticed this. I've noticed this. Is like tattoo clients that collect at a larger level. They're really artsy people.
Yeah.
They really are. They probably, most of them could have been artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just their path took them into insurance sales. You know? But they're just sitting at their office every day like, I want to create art.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't have 1,000 hours to learn how to draw.
Right.
But I can call Jose up, and I could tell him some ideas, and he can draw, and I can get involved, and they can be an artist with you through that experience.
Yeah, it's something that's special for sure.
Very special. The energy exchange that occurs with the client, you know, being willing to allow your energy to flow into them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to put that one into words, but you know the difference. Like, you come home from a tattoo where someone wasn't struggling physically, you got energy.
Yeah.
You come home from 6 hours, 7 hours of tattooing on someone who's going through hell, you come home fucking tired.
Yeah.
Well, why are you more tired? You were holding the same machine, pushing the same skin around. Why? Because you were, I think, allowing energy.
Yeah.
Spiritual, whatever you want to call it, energy. You were giving what you had to them so they could get through it.
Yeah, 100%.
Without words.
Yeah.
And so we end up with you know, tattooers. It's really cool because we end up with thousands of these bonds.
Yeah.
What a cool thing.
It is.
After all the years, to have so many people that you shared that with, that you could just call up. Most of them would do anything for you.
Yeah.
You would probably do the same.
Yeah.
And there's not just 10 of them, a few thousand of them.
Right.
Very strange thing to have that many close friends through an art form.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I think that's probably the coolest part.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely an exchange of energy and a little bit of my back breaking, but
yeah, true that, man.
Yeah,
Let's get into that. You're talking about health now. So health, you're an 18-year tattooer. You're working very, very hard. You're putting a lot of hours in. I know just from looking at your Instagram, you got a wife, you got 3 kids, life, work, balance, health. How do you keep your sanity? How do you keep from breaking your back? And how do you maintain a wife that still loves you, wants to hang out with you, and kids, and spend time with them, and develop relationships with your children? How do you balance all that?
Oh man, well,
or do you?
I do my best. I mean, first of all, as far as the back, my secret is my back's already broken. So, no, but literally, obviously, health should be put first so you have more longevity. Something clearly visually am having always difficulties with. But as far as finding time, like my family, that's what drives me first. That's what, and I'm really fortunate that, they definitely understand, but they also, like, I do make time for them, like even if it's a quick phone call or anything, if I'm away, that's literally what my drive is. I've been working since I was 14 years old, like an actual job. So I've just always been working, and I like, even friends, I'll say like, man, I haven't tattooed in like a day or two. I'm tripping out right now. Like, you know what I mean? And not saying that's a good habit. It's just, but I just, I don't necessarily have a set plan other than like a list of just priorities, like my family, trying to stay sane, like whatever it may be, even if just taking a walk or like trying to think of my fitness, like, or whatever, exercising. And then of course, like art, like trying to stay on top of it, getting older, myself, I'm surrounded, a lot of times, especially like even like my brother Derek, like there's really talented and like hardworking people. And like, I feel like being around that also gives me the drive, like, come on, man, like, you're an old dog, but you gotta keep doing it. Like, I think that helps the motivation a lot, I really think that it's just important to just keep trying. 'Cause I have days too where I'm like, man, I think I'm done, like I'm hurting, like, but I think that's when I just try to like just think about it, spend time with my family, and just be like, this is why I'm doing it,
Yeah, you got to have something that drives you to do the uncomfortable things in life. And for a lot of people, it's always going to be their family.
Yep.
Other people, it's other stuff. But I see that's a big driving force for why you push so hard in your career. How many days a week do you tattoo on average?
So, full honesty, things, have slowed down. So before, normally I do anywhere between minimum 4 days a week. There's times I was doing like 2 weeks straight.
Wow.
And then I take a few days off, Right now, I'm trying to get back to the like 4 to 5 day a week, But it's still comfortable, as long as I don't tattoo for like 12 or 14 hours in those days. Like, I definitely noticed that. I'm definitely appreciating starting to like less. I mean, conventions is different, like, especially I don't live here, so like I want to get my stuff done, but I'm definitely starting to try to like balance, like, for longevity, trying, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go to 4, dude. You said 5. Stop with that. I'm just saying, after 30 years, man, I've seen so many people go down this road.
No, I know you're
4
right.
is the number. I mean, really, I'm dropping to 3s and 2s now. But it's 30 years of tattooing
exactly
for me.
Exactly, I was gonna say, you've earned that.
But 4 is a good number because you need. I find it to be like you need 3 days. One is grocery shopping and house chores.
Yeah.
And then one is maybe something for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you need a whole nother one just to go on a date night with your wife and throw the ball with the kids, you know, and then back to work you go. Well, I felt I left something out. You need a day of drawing.
Yeah.
So really, you're getting, all right. So take one out for drawing, so you're back to 5 days a week, except one's drawing, and then 2 days for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel though now too, social media, you need almost basically a day for that. Or I mean, it's for me, it's hard, but I'm trying, because I do realize that's how it is right now. Like that, like, you know, I'm an old dude. I can complain about it and whatever, which I do, but I do realize though it is important right now, and that's how it's going, you know. And like, so I think, you know, slowly more time's gonna take it up. But you're right. I definitely I'd like to get to the point where I feel like 4 or less will be more comfortable, you know. But I gotta say, I know it's bad. Like, I look at it like, you know, NBA players, the ones that play pickup games still because they love it. Like, I love tattooing. Like, I know it can kill me at the end, but I still love doing it. You know, like I know it's like horrible to probably say that. I know it's smart to, especially I got a family and everything, but like tattooing is my passion and my poison, I think, you know?
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier it's gotten slower. This is a big conversation in tattooing right now. We're seeing it online. I see it on Instagram every day. I have my opinions about what's occurring, but what do you think's occurring?
So first and foremost, let me let you know, I'm not a very educated person, but from what I've heard from different people, conversations and everything, the economy in general, I'm not even familiar with politics or anything, but I definitely, like, you know, I've seen shit go up in price, groceries, everything. You know, obviously a lot of people, I mean, at least from what I've heard from clients, like, you know, they don't have the excess, like, because tattooing's a luxury, you know what I mean? And they don't have the excess funds as much as they did and whatnot, you know? I feel like even if someone that's slammed like all the time, they might not be suffering, but they've definitely noticed something. Like, I know everyone has, like,
Instead of a 2-year wait, you've got a 1-year wait.
you know, it's something,
Right.
you know? So, I don't know, but I also feel like this year's going towards a more positive direction. Like I said, I talk with my brother about it a lot, and I feel like it's gonna start kind of getting like back towards a positive route, you know. But
I think so too.
yeah,
That's definitely occurring. The economy has affected people's ability to have disposable income for luxury things. Yeah, that is. We see it in my shops all the time. I've had many of my clients be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break. You know, tighten the belt." I'm like, "Huh, didn't hear that. You know, a few years ago, no one ever said that."
Right.
But they're doing that. I mean, also, you know, let's face it, a lot of people became tattooers, which is fine. I mean, who am I to stop somebody's dream?
no, but
But a lot did. And, you know, you and I were part of an era of tattooing where it was just so robust. There was not enough tattooers, good ones, to keep up with the demand. And so you could just be slack on your Instagram, and you could just not worry about a lot of different business things that every other business has to worry about.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in an auto body shop, you probably have to run ads in your local, you know, whatever. You have to have a budgeting. You have to keep track of your Yelp reviews. This is what regular businesses have always done.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're being forced to do it. And a lot of people are pissed off about that. I'm more like, that's just, we're a mature industry now.
yeah.
And we finally reached our mature point, and we have to play the game like every other business.
Yeah.
If you're an owner, especially as an
Yes,
owner.
yeah.
Shit, I go to more marketing meetings now than I do tattoo consultations.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. Why do I do it? Because I feel like I'm the shepherd of these younger tattooers.
Yes.
Like, if I'm not doing that, they're going to be hurting.
No, absolutely.
So they're looking at me like, can you keep us busy? And I'm like, yeah, I'll skip another day of tattooing and go have a marketing meeting.
No, right.
You know, for you, for me too, but for us.
Well, that's really good on you though, because you know, there are owners or captains of the ships. There are people that do that, and there's a lot that don't. So, like you said, like, I mean, personally, like I said, I don't like it, but I realize that's what it is, and so, you know, got to do it. You got to do it.
Well, like I said, I hate to do it this way, but we had to go hard and fast.
Yeah.
What do you fear the most?
Like, as far as tattooing or life?
Life.
Not providing for my family, or them not, even if I die tomorrow, not leaving them something.
Yeah.
And then after that, then drowning.
Which those kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. If you drown, that ain't going to be very helpful for the kids and the wife. So just stay out of the water, maybe, if that's a deep-seated fear of yours.
Yeah.
You live in Hawaii. You live on an island.
I know.
And you have a fear of drowning. I don't know,
The
man.
next thing I'll hear shit about is I don't eat fish either.
Oh, shit.
See?
Man, you don't eat fish?
No.
What are you doing in Hawaii?
I know. And
Well, they got a lot of good beef over there, too. So
I'm also
whatever.
Hispanic descent, and I hate tomatoes and onions. I know,
Just
bro.
a contradictory on every level. Well, hey, look, it was a pleasure to sit down with you, get to
Man,
know you at
I'm
least a
honored.
little bit.
Yeah.
Again, your tattooing's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely rad.
Thank you.
Anybody out there who wants to check it out, really hyper realistic color work, please go check it out. they can find you at Cheeseburger Champion on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
They can reach out through Instagram if they want.
Yes, sir.
They
Yes.
can. Awesome. Well, do that. I highly recommend you at least take a peek. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
Chats and Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova. Chats and Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova.